All right, Shalom. All praises due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS, and Shalom to you brothers pushing this truth and sincerity. I'm Karat Bar back on another show. And this show I'm going to entitle The Curse of No Rain. All right? Because once Yahweh Shai comes back and establish the kingdom of heaven, and in the kingdom of heaven, that's where Israel is going to be ruling. And we're going to be ruling over all nations of the earth. All right? And once the kingdom is established, these nations, these different heathen nations, they're going to have to, serve us. They're going to have to serve Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. They're going to have to serve the Israelites. And they're going to have to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Okay? And one of the curses that's going to come upon them if they don't keep the laws is what? That the Most High was not going to give them any rain, which we're going to read, okay? And we're just going to, pretty much go into that curse of having no rain. But let's read, let's pull up the scripture. Let's get Zechariah chapter 14. I'll start from verse 16, and it reads, "And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King and the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain." Yeah, that's right. So these nations, they're gonna have to come up and keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And in the law it speaks about 3 times a year we supposed to go to the land and worship. All right, which is Passover, the Feast of Weeks, and the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay. So these nations, they're gonna have to keep our laws and customs also. All right, and it says if they don't come up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, there should be no rain. Okay, and we know rain is important because without rain you cannot grow your food, your vegetation. So that means without rain, these nations is going to be starving. Okay, because there's not going to be any no more supermarkets where you can just go. In the kingdom of heaven, ain't going to be these nations having any supermarkets that they could go to and buy their groceries. They're going to have to plant seed in the earth and grow their food. Okay, for them to survive. Which they have to and they're gonna have to be doing keeping our customs, all right, keeping the Feast of First Fruits and gathering and offer up their offerings to the Lord. So they're gonna have to follow these things, else they ain't gonna get the source that they need, which is rain to grow their food. And why? Because that's gonna be a curse that's gonna come upon them, just like it was a curse that had happened to Israel, which we're gonna go into. But from there, real quick, let's go to Deuteronomy. I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 30, verse. Actually, before we go there, let's go to Revelations 22, because once the kingdom is established, the curse is going to be lifted off of us. Deuteronomy chapter 22, go right to the point, verse 3, and it reads, "And there shall be no more curse." And there should be no more curse. Yeah, so that's talking about Israel, because the Most High, He's going to remove the curses written in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, off of us. So all the curses that we go through now, when Yahweh Shai comes back and establish the kingdom, that's going to be removed from off of us. So it says, and there shall be no more curse, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. Yeah, that's right. And that's when we're gonna be perfect, serving Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. But let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. I want to start from you know what? I'll start from verse 5. It's Deuteronomy 30 and 5, and it reads, and the Lord thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. Yeah, that's right. So this is the kingdom of heaven when we return to our land, and where we gonna be ruling. All right, and it reads. Salakia. And it reads, verse 6, and the Lord thy power will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul, thou mayest live. Yeah, so the Lord's going to circumcise our heart. And this is also going into what, the new covenant, where the Most High, he's going to put his laws in our inward parts, where we're not going to be able to sin, and we're going to serve the Lord, and keep his laws, statutes, commandments perfectly. All right, and he's going to program us to to love him and to keep his ways. Verse 7, it says, and the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Yeah, so in that time, that's when the Lord, he's going to put the curses upon the nations. All these nations that came up against us, the Most High, he's going to put the curses upon them. And why? Because they're not going to be able to keep the laws perfectly. All right, that's why when we read in Zephaniah, it says those that don't want to come up and worship, because look, you're going to have rebellion against these nations. So once they do that, they're going to go through the curses. All right, and we read about how one of the curses that they was not going to have any rain. Okay, because that which is actually a curse in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. So let's get that. Let's go to, let me see if I find it. Okay, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 23. Let's read that same curse that came upon us. So it's Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 23, and it says, and thy heaven that is over thee. Well, let's read 15 first. Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Yeah, so if we wasn't going to hearken into the Lord's voice, the Lord was going to put these curses upon us, and which he did, because, we didn't hearken unto his voice. We rebelled against him. So the Most High brought these curses upon us. So now let's go jump to 23, and it reads, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is underneath, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. Yeah, that's right. So it says that the heaven above shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. Right. So, and this is parabolic, Most High speaking in parabolically. Okay, because if the heaven above you is brass, and the earth is iron, those are the two solid elements. All right, brass and iron. So if the heavens above is brass, or if you look, or the sky is like brass, that which is a hard element which can't be penetrated, or iron, they can't be penetrated. Okay, so meaning that the heaven above shall be as brass, meaning there's not going to be any rain. All right, no water is going to come, from the sky. Why? Because the heavens above or the sky is like brass, where it can't be penetrated. And the iron, and it says, in the earth that is under thee shall be iron. Okay, so if the earth is iron, you're not going to be able to sow anything in the earth. All right. So pretty much the land, Most High will curse the land it wouldn't be fertile. You wouldn't be able to sow seed or receive rain to grow any food. And when you can't grow any food, you're gonna starve, because it's gonna be a famine. And that's what happened unto Israel when we didn't hearken unto his voice. The Most High cursed us where we couldn't, where it was gonna be no more rain. We wasn't gonna have the former and latter rain, where we wouldn't be able to grow our food. All right, and the soil and the earth wouldn't be fertile for us to grow crops. So it says, verse 24, the Lord shall make the rain of the land powder and dust. Yeah, see? So pretty much a drought. And where there's a drought, you're not going to be able to grow your crops to survive. It says, from heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. Yeah. So this is one of the curses that came upon us. But we read in Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, how, look, once the Most High circumcise our hearts, and that's going to be when we in the kingdom of heaven, that the Lord, he's going to put those curses on our enemies. All right? And what's one of the curses we just read is that the Lord was going to make the heavens iron and brass, and the rain as dust. So when you read in Zephaniah, it was Zephaniah or Zechariah. Zechariah 14th chapter, that the Lord was going to curse these nations with no rain. Okay, and that's just one of the many curses, one of all of the curses that's going to come upon these heathens in the kingdom of heaven, because they're going to have to go through everything that we went through. All right, and if they don't come up to worship, the Most High was going to curse them with no rain, as he did his people Israel. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say all praises due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS